Welcome to episode one of the Indie Chess podcast, where we're going to be discussing chess technology, applications, and different things in the chess space. We have Pavel here, the founder of Chessvision.ai. Welcome,
Yeah,
Pavel.
hi. Hi, everybody. Hi, Chris. Happy to be here.
Thanks for coming. And one of the things we'll talk about is Chessvision AI, the tool that you built for analyzing chess positions and giving people access to full analysis boards from basically images of static positions. We'll talk on Chessvision a little bit as well in as much details as you're happy to. So, how about you give me a little bit of a background on what made you go into chess, creating Chessvision, and where it's taken you?
I think actually it was that I was bored because I was looking for a project to make. This was a time when I was to give a timeline. It was around 2019, 2018, 19, like between those years, and I was after some projects that didn't go well, not in the chess space. Started playing chess more seriously, and I was looking for a project that involves machine learning. And somehow, naturally, it's just recognizing chess position came up, and that's how I started. I started building an algorithm just to see if I can make it work and if my solution is good enough to be competitive with other solutions. I think there was one serious app, mobile app at the time doing this, and some hobby projects. So I continued building this, and when I was ready with a solution that I was satisfied with, then I published this as a browser extension. That was April 2019, and from there on, it just started growing. Actually, a funny story, because when I published this, I announced it on Reddit and on Hacker News. Hacker News is a website where people can. It's a website also for tech news, but also people can post projects that they made. So I posted it there. Didn't get any traction, and to no surprise, because there are a lot of projects there. But somebody reposted it. So reposted it and messaged me on Reddit that this repost is gaining a lot of traction, and it went to the front page of Hacker News. So the luck was also involved, and I remember I went to the website to check how many visitors it has, and it had thousands at one time. So I was just shocked, and I saw people using it more and more, and this gave me a good motivation and a signal that it's something I should work on more and continue building. And this is how it started, and it's now it's almost 6 years after. So yeah, a long journey in the end.
That's incredible. And it seems like that one individual that had reposted it gave you that beacon of hope to keep pursuing it. It's obviously a very useful technology, but it's good
Uh-huh.
that you had the motivation to take it
Yeah,
through.
yeah. This is definitely luck is involved because we don't control everything. So say this repost didn't influence whether the product was good or not, but it gave me a
Hmm.
signal to continue the
Hmm.
project. In some other universe, if there is no repost like this, I could have just pursued something else, completely abandon this project and go with something else, and then nothing of this would have happened. So that's really cool.
And if that was the case, I'd be stuck on Twitter puzzles with no idea what the solution is because there's no chessboard to play on.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah. I really do appreciate the Twitter bot, as well as the Chrome extension. Those are things that are part of my chess workflow if I'm trying to get positions into FEN. I do use those quite a lot. Or oftentimes on Twitter, I go to tag your bot to get a
Hmm.
response with an analysis board, and it seems that someone already beat me to it, so I just use theirs. It's quite
Uh-huh.
popular and well known.
Yeah, that is very true. It was even more popular before people started leaving Twitter, because around a year ago, a lot of people left Twitter
Mm,
to some other places. But yeah, I think it's a useful tool. I built bots like this for. So just to give a context, it's a bot that you can tag and give a command to scan a position. So you reply under a post on Twitter, and it replies to you with a link to analysis of this position. This can be on either Chessvision website, on Chess.com or Lichess. And also you can ask the bot to evaluate the position directly on Twitter. So you get like it's made in two, and the best move is
mm,
something.
mhm.
Uh, So this also gives a lot of traction to the apps themselves, because people get to know the product, what it can do, and then they can download either an app or a Chrome extension, like you said, and then they can just scan position from wherever they want, essentially,
Hmm.
using their devices outside of Twitter, for example. So it's a good, gives good traction, definitely.
It has its own sort of self-fulfilling marketing ability because it's free and easy to use those bots, and they exist on, I think, Discord and Reddit as well.
Yeah,
It's so accessible, and the name is always there, Chess Vision.
yeah,
And I've
yeah.
seen, I don't know if this is a recent development from your side, but I had noticed that it also now links to a Chess Vision native analysis board for
Yes, yes,
your early analysis.
that is true. And this I added maybe a month ago, and
Okay.
also I launched this website silently. I call it so not yet fully publicly. I call it a silent launch. And the idea, it's called Chessvision AI Library. So the idea is that wherever you scan positions from with our apps, you can save them for later and organize in this library, and then you can train them also there. So say you have a Chrome extension, you like some position, you scan normally, but you came across a beautiful mate into, and you want to save it for later. So there is a button to save, and when you click save, you give it a name, and it goes to your inbox folder in this library. And from there you can put it in folders, you can rename it, you can add your moves, you can automatically compute a solution for this puzzle, and that way you can build your own library of what your chess content is. Can be openings, tactics, endgames. My folders are like that, so I have openings, I have endgames. I have a plan to actually study some endgames seriously. Which I think it will help me. But it's very nice for me personally even to recall some beautiful mates that I found on the internet, and that way I organize them. I can then train them with flashcards on this in this library. So yeah, it was created as a tool mostly for me and people I know, and then from there. Still in active development. I have not announced it fully publicly yet, so yeah, I'm testing some waters here, but the full launch will come soon.
That's excellent. What is it that you're doing between, let's say, now and the final full launch that makes it production ready compared to what you would
Um,
have?
I think it is fully production ready. I'm trying to find use cases still, maybe to add something on top, or even removing things sometimes also helps with apps, because the message is clearer, users are not that confused. um, mm, so right now I think there are around a few hundreds people using the app, because it was before it was called like video Chess Vision Video Search. So it was a website that allowed you to search, to put a position on a board, and then it was possible to find videos, YouTube videos matching this exact position, and play them exactly from where this position appears in the videos. So it was called, I don't know if you came across this functionality or
Yeah,
not, but
I've come across it. I thought, and correct me where I'm wrong, I thought it was ingrained within both Lee Chess and or chess.com on their
yeah,
platforms, but still mentioning your integration and your
yeah.
services
So
there.
when you have a browser extension, Chessvision AI browser extension for Chrome installed, you can go on Lichess or Chess.com, and then you can enhance these websites with their analysis. So say you play a game on Chess.com, and then you go to analysis, and if you enable our extension to be embedded on this website, you will see a list of videos matching the position on the board. So say you're playing some opening, then you go into game review, you play some moves, and then you see some concrete position, and you will see video explanations of this position from your favorite YouTubers. And you can play it directly on Chess.com website that way. But it also was in a form of a website itself. Yeah, so now it's also now included in the library as a feature. So when you go to analysis, for example, from this Twitter link from our bot, you will also see matching videos for the position that was scanned. And this is very helpful to. I think personally, it's a really good tool to learn openings that way, because you put something on a board and you instantly jump to an explanation, professional explanation of grandmasters or educators.
And it speaks to the rich amount of data that exists in chess. I mean, what you're doing ultimately is connecting the data of a chess position as an image to
Hmm.
the data that exists for those positions
Yeah,
in YouTube. And it doesn't translate naturally. You need to write custom scripts and probably some machine learning is there in there as well to map one to the other. But the data that is there is quite interesting that you've been able to uncover
hmm,
it and use it so in such a practical and applicable way.
yeah. So this video analysis I started working on in 2021. And this was very challenging because up to till this point, my apps were able to scan static chess positions. But video is another monster. You need to.
Hmm.
There are also pictures, but there are a lot of them. So it's a sequence of a lot of picture. How many frames per
Yeah.
second, and then the length of a video. So it's a lot of frames, right? To
I know exactly what you're talking about because the chess position being like if you're recording it, they might have 60 frames showing the exact same image. Do you do
yes.
anything at the top level to filter that out so that there's less data that you need to
Mm-hmm.
process?
Yes,
Duplicates?
exactly. If not for any techniques you mentioned, then something like this would take ages, especially for the
Hmm.
number of videos that are analyzed. So at the moment, there are 40,000 videos analyzed from around 40 channels. These channels I picked by myself, just using some common knowledge and trying to be focused on channels that are educational. But yeah, 40,000 videos, and then you imagine if my software scans every single frame, then this is not feasible. So I'm using some techniques to reduce the numbers of frames scanned in a video. So say just something like you mentioned, if position doesn't change, we don't need to scan it anymore, for example. But there are many challenges because position can be the same, but somebody is drawing arrows on top of it, or
Mm,
highlighting squares, or even moving a mouse cursor. This is the same,
oh
but
yeah,
there
oh
is
yeah.
some movement there.
Yeah.
So that was really challenging, and but I like problems like this. There is something that challenges me, then I'm forced to work on it. Especially if you have a good motivation to that, the result will lead somewhere. And I was very happy when I achieved something that was of good quality. And right now, the website analyzes new videos every week. So once a week, it just updates the data set with new published videos from the channels it's observed. So yeah,
Wow. So it's automatically fetching the new ones.
yes, yes.
Interesting. And if you know these numbers, I'd be curious to hear them. Let's say the data the amount of data that you're processing to collect from video versus the amount of data which should probably be nominal or minimal for collecting from pictures.
Mhm.
Like the video seems like it could theoretically be much more extensive if you hadn't done those filtering methods that you had spoken on. But do you know
Yes.
the scales?
I think I have something that I can recall for. I think as an average, I used some data set to measure this, and I was measuring on 20-minute videos, and I think it was analyzing roughly 200 pictures. Not that many for 20-minute videos. Usually it takes I think around 3 minutes to process a video of length around 20 minutes.
Interesting. And so
And
you're
uh-huh. What's also nice,
continue.
and I want to mention is that it's not only that it analyzes pictures, but it also knows which move leads to another frame.
Mm,
So say you have one frame, and then we can build a whole tree, PGN, for example, from this video. And yeah, so one feature that is also available on the website in the library is that you can watch a video with an analysis board that is synchronized to the video on the site, and it shows you best moves and but also follows the moves made by the person presenting in the video. This is really cool, actually. So yeah, and I remember when I was I was building this because the way I approach my apps is that I build something that is sort of MVP, minimal viable product, and then I try to test if anybody wants it. For this, you need some minimal distribution. So it's usually
Hmm.
not, my advice is not to use your friends, families, moms. Just don't do it for anybody listening. I think it's really bad because they try to be really nice for you. It's best to use people who you don't know. And if they invest something like time or their money into it, then it's a good signal to pursue it, in my opinion. So I started building this because it's a complex problem when you think about it right now. 40,000 videos, it's a lot, or 10,000 at that time, say, whatever was available. But I took 100 videos, popular ones, and I just built, it was not, the algorithm was not that fast in the beginning because it was not needed. Was slower. Say it took 20 minutes to analyze one video, maybe, right? But I took 100 popular videos and I built a website. It was called search.chessvision.ai. And it was possible to input and position, and it would find matching video among these 100 pre-selected videos. So I selected very popular videos usually from openings, from St. Louis Chess Club, for example, or Eric Rosen, I remember. And then I built a database around this 100 videos and show it to people to see if they even like it, because I liked it, but I didn't know if
Hmm.
anybody else
Hmm.
is up for it. So this gave me another signal to improve on that. And then then a faster algorithm was needed because I wanted to build it for thousands or tens of thousands of videos, not just for this pre-selected
Hmm.
100. I think that was a pretty nice approach.
Yeah. And you're speaking on those positive feedback signals from strangers who have no vested interest in you succeeding. And there was the example that you gave with the product hunt or the equivalent subreddit that you had shared and been reposted in, or with this
Mhm.
example of the library that you're building. What are some other examples throughout your years building Chess Vision AI where you recognize that the idea was validated and worth pursuing as a product?
Yeah, so I think with all my products it was like this. So first I launched the Chrome extension. That was, as I mentioned, April 2019. But then I was listening to feedback. So usually I do it on email. So people would email me, "Hey, I'm using your app in that way, but this is my problem, or this is what I'm trying to achieve." And I observed that many people are using the browser extension to scan chess ebooks. So you have a digital version of a book on your computer and you want to scan it and have a position. So I thought, hey, there are many people doing this. Maybe I will build a dedicated solution for that. So I built a very simple. The website looked terrible. I remember this. There is somewhere a post on Reddit about this. It's just a PDF viewer like this, and on the side, you have a board that can be updated. And the idea was that you double click on an image in this PDF, and this image would be loaded on the analysis board. So you
Yeah.
can read your books in that way. And I posted it there I remember, either it was a picture, static picture, or maybe a video of me using the app. And I asked people, hey, do you like it? If so, then give me some feedback. And people liked it. Then after some time I made it available and I started a beta testing for it. So I asked for people to join beta test with their emails, and I think 100 or 120 people joined, and from this 40 or 50 actively used the app and gave me feedback for it. And the feedback was very positive. It's actually quite a nice group. If you gather a group of strangers that are 50 of them and they're actually using the app. So I built it into a full product, and now it's called the Chessvision AI ebook reader. It's available on as a website, but also as a mobile app. So it just gives you a nice interactive experience of reading chess ebooks. Yeah, so the process is similar. So I have some idea, but this idea is usually a combination of signals from users, so their use cases, and also my observations and some intuition. And I think this
And what
combination
are
is really, really powerful.
proven true for you? What is it that you use to track these? Is it a basic Google Analytics setup, or is it just based on database calls and things like that?
Usually, I try to listen to users, so I talk to them instead of proposing my solutions, like bombarding users. Oh, this is something I built. I try to, and I also when I listen to users, I don't only listen to what they say, but I listen to what they're trying to do. So everybody has some use case, and sometimes people are trying to also give you solutions. But maybe their solution is not ideal or they don't know the context. So I'm trying to understand the use case, what they are trying to do, and then I'm trying to deliver something that fulfills this
Hmm.
need.
So
Like
problem
this.
problem solving first, understanding what the problem is in order to provide a
Yeah,
minimum
yes,
solution for
yes,
it, and then
yes,
as more
yes.
feedback comes in, investing into scaling it.
Definitely. One time I remember I came across this idea of that is, I think the phrase is that is a job to be done, meaning that somebody is already doing a job. It's a use case in general, can be having a chess position and trying to translate it to a fan to then play it on an interactive board. And they are doing usually this in some suboptimal way. So some people, I remember they had even methods of how to read the position quickly. Is it row by row and see where, or start from kings and then put them on the board? So or maybe take a picture and then do something. But once you observe these use cases, then you can try to deliver a better solution for what they are already doing. And products like this are really, really easy because they are solving, easy, I mean, to adopt by users because they are solving a problem that they already have. It's much
Hmm.
easier to convince somebody to solve a problem that they already have than to convince them that they have a problem that they are unaware of.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Now, with what's next on the agenda for Chess Vision AI, where do you see things going? What are some things you're working towards?
So I'm working actively on this library app because right now all the Chessvision is basically right now a collection of tools that can you can use to scan position and chess position because a chess diagram I consider as a perfect piece of information that can be shared. It just describes the state of the game, and then from there
Hmm.
we can do many things: find matching games, find matching video, discuss, solve with friends, save for later, just enjoy. And at the moment, all these products like the browser extension or mobile app or the mentioned ebook reader or the Twitter bot, they allow you to scan these positions and then you analyze them somewhere or save. But what I'm trying to do with the library is that whichever of this product you use, then you can save the positions in your library. So it's a collection, but you can also train. So instead of uh, forcing people to use some external tools, I'm trying to build an ecosystem so
Hmm.
that they can
Hmm.
snap a position, they have it already there, they don't need to export, and everything what they want to do will be there in the library with the positions.
Hmm.
At least that's the idea, and that's why I'm trying to understand use cases of what people do after they scan a position. Yeah. So that's
And
the
what are some things that you are seeing people do with those with that data?
so many people they are just collecting. So they are building like a collection of tactics, and then they export it. So far, popular places are Lichess studies, for example, or if they have an opening, they export it to ChessBase, for instance. People also build collections, and they then this is especially a use case for teachers. They build a collection of some interesting positions, and then they want to build a PDF file with these positions and give it to students. This is a common use case for teachers that I was not aware of. There's even
Mm.
a site tool I created. It's called PGN to PDF, and it allows you to input a PGN, and it creates you a beautiful PDF with dispositions. Uh,
That's
yeah,
I like that a lot.
yes, and
Is
this
that
is
live? PGN to PDF?
yeah. Just go PGN to PDF.com and you will see it.
I'll make a note of it
There,
for later.
yeah, it should be an example PGN there, so you can create it, and there are some options there also. So this is a use case that I was surprised to hear about that. It's not definitely anything that came up um, from me. It was just
Mhm.
by talking to users, and I thought, all
Mhm.
right, it sounds cool. It's not that complicated, so let's build it. And it's also a part of the ebook reader, because when say a teacher is reading a chess book and wants to select some position for training, you can just select them, say add 6 position, export as PDF, give a title like exercises for this week, and create a PDF print. There you go. So yeah.
That's really interesting to me. That makes me think about how I can use these kinds of ideas within my own ecosystem with like Chess website and
Hmm.
Chess Thread, uh, just to empower the people having control and abilities to do things with their chess data, basically, is what this comes down to. People
Hmm.
want to analyze and study chess and share it in different ways, and finding the exact use cases that reduce the friction for people being able to engage over the digital chessboard, basically. Um, it's a noble problem to solve, I think.
Yeah, yeah. One common use case is also that people want to train positions, and many people like the idea of flashcards. So flashcard usually people know it because of learning languages, for example. You see something and then there is an answer to it. So it can be a word and translation to that word in a
Hmm.
language that you know, or the other way around. And a popular software for this is Anki. This is, I think, like the go-to app for training flashcards. And people actually, when you go over in the internet and you type like chess, Anki, something, you will see just people giving tips on how to create good chess
Hmm.
collections to study with flashcards in Anki. But it's not. Again, it's a suboptimal solution, because
Hmm.
you have a static picture. You don't make moves. You just maybe you can see moves once. Like for super
Hmm.
grandmasters, when they can visualize board 5 moves ahead or more, this is maybe okay. But for somebody learning chess, when they want to just do mate in two or mate in one, or just train some openings, this is not ideal. It adds friction. Uh, and people are already doing this, so this is a great signal that it's a valid use case, and this is also what it's part of the library. So that if you have a study there in your library, you can enable flashcards for this study. There are 3 types of flashcards. This is also my idea. I'm not sure if it's perfect yet, but I have 3 types of flashcards. One is for opening, just normal one. The other one is for tactics, and the third one is for what I call goal-oriented. But you can imagine an end game, and there's an end game position, and it's winning, but you need to convert it. And it's not about playing the concrete moves, because maybe there are many ways of achieving victory, but I consider it totally different case than, say, studying an opening and playing concrete moves that you have in your opening repertoire. So
Hmm.
that's my idea of improving on this original idea of just having a flashcard, maybe making one move and then evaluating whether the answer was correct or not. Um, yeah, we'll
Interesting.
see how it goes. So I'm still listening to users, how they see it, which ones they use, and things like that.
It seems that at a larger scale, there's solutions that exist in the marketplace for, let's say, Anki decks to be able to, do quiz yourself with flashcards or create flashcards, or there's website builders. There's all these different tools that exist in chess. Sorry, rather in the internet in general, but they need a special fine tuning to be particularly useful for chess
Mm-hmm.
because chess is
Mm-hmm.
such a niched off game and industry and everything that's going into chess is different. Even editing a video for chess is different than it needs to be for editing a video for Hollywood, right? It's a different concept, and that's even exemplified with the 60 frames per second that we said. Chess video editors that are requiring you to edit 60 frames at a time are making the workflow actually a lot more complicated compared to if it was broken down frame by frame, position by position. So a lot of opportunities, I think, just in general in technology within chess to find existing solutions that work elsewhere on the internet as products and services, but then niche them down to what chess needs because it's so closed off and different than what other generalized companies are building for.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with that. And also, it's niche, but it's popular enough that it makes sense.
Hmm.
So, for example, to illustrate this, I can give an example. I'm getting requests from users, maybe build this or build that. And people suggested maybe you build like Chessvision, but for backgammon, for example, which is also a board game.
Hmm.
But to be honest, it's not that popular. And maybe it will be useful for somebody, but not to the level of that chess is popular. So I think, yeah, this is the right balance that um, you can easily bring technology to chess because it's lacking, still lacking of, I think, tech products. But it's niche, but it's a very popular niche. And people that are into chess, they are usually good adopters of new software. There are some other industries when there is not that easy to introduce new things or make people trying new things because they just don't want to do this. While people playing chess, they have this, I think, natural curiosity about things, and they wanna because like it's chess, right? It's not the generic population; it's people playing chess, and this I think helps. So.
Hmm. Yeah, well said. Within that, if you were to look at the landscape at large within technology in chess, whether it being the large players or the independent builders, where do you think the trends are pointing towards, or where would you like to see them go in the future for improving on the infrastructure?
Definitely a big trend right now is on the learning side. This I see, because I'm observing this for the platforms for learning, for studying chess. Um, that was the question, right? Do I
Yeah,
understand the question correctly? Yes.
yeah.
Okay. So I'm reading on the internet basically every single day, and I'm seeing, and there are many people posting their new apps, especially with the new tools that allow you to build software more quickly than in the past using some generated code or super nice UI libraries. It's much faster right now to build a solution and then publish it. There are many. I would even say maybe a week there are two, three new websites that are in the space of uh, studying chess. So that makes it easier. The flashcards, it's also the library, Chessvision.ai library falls into this category. So studying, building your opening repertoires, this is very popular. And it was also popular, I think, around 2021, 2022. There were websites like Aim Chess, for example, that was in this space. And then I saw a bit of decline of interest in this space, and now it's booming again totally. So can be of both sides. People want to do it, but it's also maybe there is not a perfect solution yet. That like the go-to place like we have
Hmm.
for example, playing chess. We have two websites, I guess. Most
Hmm.
popular it's Chess.com and Lichess also to play chess. This is like a gold standard. And for studying
That
chess,
one's, sorry, that one's hard to get into, to break that cycle because of the rating systems being basically closed off. It makes it difficult for, there's already a fragmentation of you go to a chess club, you ask someone what their rating is. One person will tell you their chess.com, that next person says their FIDE rating over the board, the next person says their Chess, and
Huh?
no one can really agree on anything. But to the idea of introducing a third or I guess a fourth system there
Although,
at scale becomes a lot harder, I think.
yeah, although there is one player in this game that has some player in the sense of a platform that I see having some results is the Internet Chess Club. So it's ICC, this
Mhm.
what used to be before
Chess
Chess.com. Yes, and right now it's Chess Club.com if I'm correct.
chessclub.com, yeah.
Yes, so they have legacy, so it's something, and the people who remember the platform, they still remember it and have good memories with it. And I have not tried it yet, but I went to the website. It looks nice because it's different, so it already differentiates. And I like the things they approach it because I saw that they organize some matches already on the platform between very good players, and this I see as a promising approach. There were some approaches that were just doomed from the beginning. I remember one that was in the past. Um, there was one website that just tried to, because the problem when you say we want to start a chess playing platform, what's the problem? What's the problem there? Say we want to code it, we can code it, and we want to start it tomorrow. What's the problem there? What do you think? What's the
Is
biggest
kind of what I was
challenge?
saying before is the user base and the ratings. If it's not off the ground, it the standards are already established between Chess and Chess.com. That's my opinion, is that attracting people into a new ecosystem where their rating holds no value to the person that knows what a Chess rating
Okay.
scale looks like. That's my opinion. I'd like to hear
Uh huh.
yours.
Yeah, this is definitely for me. I would say also major problems are the players, so that you don't have players. You need to attract players somehow.
Hmm.
Because say you build a website to study chess, you don't need other people in the platform. Platform is self-sufficient for you. You just by yourself and you study. When you want to play real people. And this is one thing, and the other one, even if you have people, what I think right now we take for granted is the waiting time to be matched, because we click play and we match instantly. Say you need to wait 10 minutes. And this is bad because matchmaking is not only that it matches you with any opponent, it tries to match you with an opponent of similar skill level, for example, or maybe based on some other conditions. So these two things I would also mention that are important: having any player base and also big enough so that matchmaking is fast. But I remember one platform that was trying to solve this matchmaking problem by just pretending that the players are bots. So they use bots to fill the players pool. And it's just terrible. It's even worse than not being matched, I think. Because you have expectations that you're playing a real person. Hey, I'm on a new website. I'm excited to play. There is actually somebody there, and then you find out that it's a bot, and this is really bad, I think.
I listened to a podcast with the CEO of chess.com about a year ago. Eric Alderson was speaking. I forget who was interviewing him, but they spoke on this exact same thing. Basically, Eric had mentioned that their data was showing that players that sign up for an account and win their first game are X% more likely to play
Uh-huh.
again and to keep returning than people that aren't. And so then he mentioned that they had internal discussions. I don't know the conclusion of which, and I'm not making any accusations whatsoever, regarding like, okay, what if we match those people up against bots so that they're sure to win? Um,
Uh-huh.
and
Uh-huh.
leave them up. It's a gamified way of doing things. You could say there's ethical, I mean, not
Mm-hmm.
severe ethical concerns there, but it's like the topic you're speaking on. There's some validity around it, and whether it's bots or people, something to think on.
Yes, 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 yes. Matchmaking in general is a very interesting problem, especially on such a big scale, to make it
Hmm.
pleasant experience for users
Hmm.
and really fast also. And this is the luxury of having actually a platform to play chess, because instead of It's just instant. You click a button and you play a game. This is beautiful, I think, and we take it for granted right now. I don't think
Hmm.
about it even because it's there. But if it's not there, then enjoying chess would be much harder.
Hmm. They force us to do puzzles and opening practice and endgame practice more than just 3 a.m. blitz, 3 minutes, no increment.
Yes, and having the same rating in like all the time, not improving. That is very true.
What would you like to see from the big players of Lee Chess, the Internet Chess Club,
Mhm.
World of Chess, chess.com, whoever you define there, in terms of innovation, where do you think there's opportunities for them to provide more to the chess world?
That's a great question. Uh, I don't know. I don't have anything on top of my head, but I can tell you what I liked that was happening recently, and what I like is this transition, a bit trying of presenting chess as an esport. This
Hmm.
I like a lot, and the
Hmm.
tournament that I saw, I think it was in somewhere in the Middle East, the Esport Cup, or don't remember the name, but it was amazing experience to watch. So for me personally, it was much better than watching any other tournament.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
know it's controversial also for people when you use for some people that you use a mouse to control even if you have your opponent facing you. But I think for the viewers it creates much more interesting matches, and this I like. I like that the in this case Chess.com I think is the main organizer of such tournaments or is involved somehow into it, and this I like that they give us also a very good experience of watching top level chess. In this case, fast format. So this I like a lot.
Yeah, I would give chess.com big kudos and respect for their broadcasting of top level chess. They do a probably unmatched job of that in certain formats at least. FIDE does that pretty well as well, obviously at the global scale. But chess.com being digital first, they do a really good job of that. Um, I think so. It was the Esports World Cup. I just want to say that there is a lot of back and forth on kind of the topic you just mentioned. There's a crowd of people which want to see chess more gamified and put through an esports type venue and energy and everything that comes with that. So there's the Esports World Cup. There was also the uh, Checkmate Showdown, USA versus India, I believe it was called.
Mm-hmm.
That did very similar. Obviously, everyone remembers with Hikaru throwing the chess piece is like the pinnacle of
Yes.
exemplifying
Yes.
that the the behavior and the demeanor behind those events. Obviously, it's a big contrast to the tradition and the history of chess. So that's where people kind of butt heads because it seems like conversations want to say that one or the other is better rather than just
Mm-hmm.
recognizing that both can exist in their own containers and one doesn't take away from the other or doesn't need to take away from the other. There's also, my opinion is that there's like political forces pushing one or the other in the space that kind of distort those conversations. But generally, like some people love classical chess and love the that every move that was made has a deep significance by it coming out of the brain of a top level grandmaster that's put so much thought into the reasoning behind the moves that you and I won't even
Mm-hmm.
understand. Other people want to see, queen blunders and rook sacrifices happening instantly in blitz and bullet type
Yes.
formats. And I wish the chess world would be a bit more um, kind to each other in those
Mm-hmm.
conversations and just respect everyone's opinions about some formats being good for some people, other formats being preferred by others. And
Yes.
within that, one more thing I'll say is that we do need to maintain respect for the tradition and the history of chess. It's great to push forward new initiatives and formats within esports, but it shouldn't and doesn't need to come at the cost of the classical,
Mm-hmm.
historical, cultural significance that chess has always brought.
Yeah, I totally agree on that. The both points that it's diversity, it's good because say even there is this maybe hidden effect a bit. Say this esports side becomes popular somehow, it's gaining viewership,
Hmm.
then organizers of traditional chess tournaments, they also see it as a competition a bit, right? They want to also push maybe their production a bit. It's not that I'm not saying anybody's lazy. It's just a system. It's just competition. It increases value of what we're getting from it, and this is very nice. And I think having diversity, people being more open to it, and understanding that having a competition, a competitive event that is a competition to the event they like, would also probably will be resulting in their event being a greater production. So this is good, but obviously, chess has great history, and this should never be forgotten. So
Of
yeah,
course. And on what you're saying, you do need competition in order to push innovation. Otherwise, people just get complacent.
yeah.
So it's good when those initiatives can come out of nowhere, like the Checkmate India versus Showdown. I had seen the reports and things leading up to it for some months, but they really made headlines when the actual event came for the first time. I don't think anything like that has been done before in that
Mm-hmm.
fashion. And when those things happen, even though it took Hikaru having to throw a king across the crowd, which is wild, but that happening sparked so many
Yes.
conversations about not that people are now advocating for you know king rights to the other person's king if you checkmate them, but it opens up the conversation like where is there room for further innovation to bring more
Mm-hmm.
people in. Yeah, obviously that kind of stuff is what goes viral on social media and brings eyeballs and attention to the game. Luckily chess has the ability to, it's not just like if they were playing some other video game, like some competitive Minecraft thing or something, let's say that it brings this attention, but there's no historical significance to Minecraft
Yeah.
like there is to chess. Chess has that to fall back on, that new eyes coming in seems to just society in general seems to respect chess for what it is as a game and the mental fortitude it takes to understand the game. People outside of chess seem to generally respect that. So bringing in new eyeballs and attention on it is a good thing because they'll fall back on the long-standing significance of all those things.
Yeah, definitely. And there are every year new people coming to chess. This this is great, and I want to see it more. Whether this is exactly like you said, this match USA India, I didn't see it coming. I saw it. I just immediately just it's instant watch, and it's a no-brainer. Amazing experience. It actually gave me this because we both play basketball, so we
Hmm.
also.
Yeah,
I assume we fans of NBA, for example, right? And you see
yeah,
all these gestures by NBA players where they do something really cool. I don't know, Steph Curry, like putting people to sleep at the Olympics. Yeah, exactly. And this gave me the similar vibes there,
yeah.
and obviously different sport, but as a spectator, just experience similar chills and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, basketball's always had that sort of respectful trash talking culture where
Hmm.
most of the time, if you're going head to head with someone, you can jar back and forth and talk a little bit of trash about the game that's happening, but 9 times out of 10 it ends with handshakes at the end and a mutual
Yes.
respect for the
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
competition is what's driving it. So as long as
Exactly.
that remains at the root of everything, I think that I'm so for new
Hmm.
initiatives pushing the needle forward.
Yeah, I think also mentioning NBA, they handle all this, say, potential conflicts really well. I don't know how, but they manage, even though there's a lot of trash talking, and but they manage to do it well. Yeah, that is very cool.
Yeah, it comes down to the players having respect for everyone's past to get to where they are. It's not easy. They know that everyone's gone through the same, more or less.
Hmm. That's very cool.
So if you were to, I mean, you had mentioned generally jobs and tooling in chess. Um, could you elaborate on what you want to see within, where you see the fit for new tools, new jobs to come from?
Mm, definitely, I want to see like the go-to gold standard for studying chess. This I want to see. Maybe it will be my app, maybe something else, maybe some of the ones that are popping every single day, but I want to see something that is really good. Um, Not maybe not one app, but say apps that are the default. And yeah, this I still think it's something. Um, Anything else? Playing we have, the watching we have. It's a very good. Also, the live streaming was very good. The invention of Twitch live streaming, then YouTube came. This is also really really big.
Mhm.
Um, Anything else? Maybe you have any ideas for
Well,
this?
that makes me think on the Twitch and YouTube live streaming. It seems like you are solving the problem I'll mention in a second. You're solving it the other direction compared to how I see it is that YouTube being directly for sharing video, uh, you can share any video. And kind of what we were saying on before is that that's not adapted to chess per se. You built your library reader for YouTube videos with a database of YouTube videos that translates the YouTube video to um, like analysis board, right? And that makes it more accessible. But then if you were to look at the problem and truly want to solve it upstream of the problem rather than downstream, would be creating some application that allows people to edit and record and annotate directly within some combined interface that has both video and chessboard directly in it so that
Mm-hmm.
and maybe it might be hard to wrap your head around, but if the board embedded in the video was interactive, that would be like the root of solving that problem. I'm not
What you
saying
mean
it's
from the
necessary
from somebody watching the video, or for editing itself for the purpose?
for both, so editing and playback. So it would need to be its own custom platform because YouTube would just accept the MP4 itself. But if the MP4, basically, if there was a new file type that had both video on one side and chessboard on the other side, and they're
Mm-hmm.
they're synchronized as well, so that you can basically click on position from the video itself, and then the board pops up
Mm-hmm.
with that fully interactive. I mean, you basically solve that problem with your video
Mm-hmm.
library and how you can go from any position to find a video. But if we're just speaking of ideals, I feel like since chess again is so niched off, walled off in what it's serving. Tools could adapt to that to provide the full immersive chess
Mm-hmm.
experience for video and chessboard playback all in one place, both creating and viewing back.
Uh-huh. On the creator side, you can tell me more, because I'm not familiar with this side of production, the editing, recording. So you can tell me more about it. But
Well, on basically the way I see it, and I can give some background as well. Uh, think about if you're creating a video for chess and you record your screen. You're recording at either 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second, and then you need to make edits to that video. It depends on the style of content that you're doing, but you're editing an MP4 video. An MP4 doesn't know anything about chess. It doesn't have any
mm-hmm.
additional integrations or feature for chess, and that could be adapted to improve that process where instead of screen recording, you're using PGNs at the root of everything. And your frames are based on PGNs, based on one move in the PGN. It gives you a lot better control in theory over annotating and animations, a lot of different things that go into proper video editing for certain niches within chess. It's not suitable for every type of chess content, but that's just an example of basically, I think that there's a lot of untapped data in chess that if it was properly streamlined into workflows that know how to use the data, just like you've done with Chess Vision, going from a picture of a board to a real FEN to a real board. The same type of process could be done to uh, allow for video to benefit the same way because with your Chess Vision, you've turned pictures into chess readable data types. Videos could theoretically be done too. um, from the ground up, where the building process allows you to build from a chess standpoint first and add video and things on top of that, rather than it all being constrained to the same video only restrictions that don't know anything about chess. I may not have explained that perfectly, but there's a problem within there that I think could eventually be addressed, and could make content creation more accessible for people that have minimal editing skills,
Uh-huh.
have never been in video editors, but want to be able to basically output content easier.
Do you have maybe an example of such an editing action that having a different underlying data, like PGN, for example, would make it easier than
Yes, I
having a
do.
raw footage? Yeah.
I do. So think about, so I've built some integrations for this. They're not production ready, uh, but I'll give you an easy example to visualize it. With Lee Chess and Chess.com both having the ability to turn your game into a GIF or a GIF, however you say it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's taking a PGN at the root of everything, and it's turning it into not an MP4, but a series of images, which is what the GIF ends up being. It's playing back a full game. Uh, they've done what I'm describing at a very basic level, where they've let you
Mm-hmm.
take the
Yeah.
PGN data and export video basically from it. And you don't need a video editor for that. Now, you could theoretically add layers to that process to say, first of all, don't just do a GIF where there's no animation, because it's just image after image, there's no animation that happens there.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were to allow it to play back in a bit of a more seamless animation, how we're used to seeing
Mm-hmm.
pieces move on a digital board, giving control over being able to time sync or move synchronize. If you want to add an element that appears on the screen for, your brilliant move but disappears right after, all of that comes down to the idea of zooming in onto the chess data and using that at the root of the processes that you're doing.
Okay, and no, yeah, now I understand more. But then, so this GIF example you gave, it's just a sequence of images we can think, but at constant time intervals in between them. So
Yes.
there is no. So say you're playing a real game, you're thinking, oh, maybe I'm thinking 1 minute, and here I'm making an instant move. And but then there are some videos. This is a very good idea. I like it a lot because, and I would like to hear what people who actually editing videos, what problems they are facing while doing this, and then say brainstorming. Can be very nice. But say for sure we both know these types of videos. Say somebody is playing over the board game, YouTube videos. I mean, and then they edit on top of it. Just a board, as we know from, say, Chess.com board, but this board is synchronized to the moves that are being made. So now I'm thinking how they do it. Is it manually that they are just thinking, oh, this player is making a move, and then I'm just making a move? Or if you want to put
That's,
animations, like you said, or annotations. Mm-hmm.
yeah, that what you're describing is done typically manually, to my knowledge, if they're putting a digital board over top of a real video to try to synchronize to a real board and a digital board, that's done manually. But then there's also, and I don't know how applicable this is, but I know FIDE recently, in the last maybe 6 months, endorsed a company that was working on video capture of a real board being somewhat translatable to, it was basically solving the DGT problem, but being video down instead of it being the boards and magnets and things like that. So I can't remember. It's like 50% chance, Cam. Yeah, so there is some initiative on it, but those processes, there's manual work in it that could be improved and templated. And I've built things around those topics. Uh, Need to put some more time for them to be production ready. But I do think it would be quite useful and could improve quality and quantity of content distribution of the digital chessboard.
Mm-hmm.
So that's some initiative and idea. Another one I have, I'm not sure if you've ever played with, I know you do machine learning, you had done machine learning to build the foundation for the board. image processor, basically, is, and this is going to be a silly question probably, but is that done through large language models or is that done through some custom framework that you've built?
No, this is completely custom, and it consists of two phases. So there is image recognition phase. You can think of it as finding an image in a picture,
Hmm.
and then from this moment on, there is the machine learning that tries to classify the pieces that were found into. So whether this is a knight, an empty square, or a color, but there is no LLMs there.
Okay. Have you played around with LLMs at all in any part of what you've
Yeah,
built?
yeah. Not in Chessvision itself. Maybe with some experimental products that products ideas I tried, like say explaining positions. Yeah, but outside of Chessvision, yeah, of course, I did.
If you could share, what's your take on the explaining positions part? How far did you get, or what did you try with that? I've tinkered it
Uh,
with it a little bit, so that's why I'm curious.
there are some ideas if you know, because LLMs are very good in formulating knowledge that is accessible to us. This is a really, really strong part, and they are also multimodal in the sense that you can input many things into them. It's not only text that they can learn from, but if you input many, you can think it's a brute force approach. Maybe nothing has to be tested on some larger scale, but if you bombard an LLM with a lot of resources about a position, they can come information then can come from some statistical analysis for a position. So say king safety, for example, or who controls the center, or like something like this. Then you input some matching games to it, then some win rates in these positions, things like this. They can nicely present those ideas in a compressed form for us
Hmm.
that is
Hmm.
actually easy to understand than looking for you can imagine you look for 8 resources and you don't know which one is the importance of them, how to use them that much. But whether it's useful or not, this I don't know. For sure it would be appealing for people to use. People
Hmm.
like these game reviews on chess.com, for example. uh, what's your take on this?
I think that kind of like what you're saying, if you, and people don't do this, people are very critical of, let's say, ChatGPT in its chess playing abilities because it makes illegal moves, right? And all the models do. And them making illegal moves basically disqualifies them from contention of being a legitimate training resource. So at the surface level, most people disqualify LLMs for their use in chess. But I think that you could get around the illegal move part and a lot of the, it's it making things up and saying foolish things about positions. You can get around that if you provide it with the right data and format the data as easily readable as possible and simplify the goal for what it's trying to do. Don't try to make it explain like a grandmaster, but explain to someone that's just learning for the first time. Reference the Stockfish best line every time you do. Things like that. I think you could theoretically make it much better at explaining positions and even removing the inaccurate like illegal moves that it makes. If you just run it by a chess processor to make sure that it
Mm-hmm.
only chooses from legal moves, you've already solved that.
Mm-hmm.
So I built some of these things. I built them in a code first approach where I think for it to succeed, you need to actually zoom out and see the bigger picture happening. And that's why I think like a workflow automation tool like N8N, I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, would make it a lot easier to solve a problem like that, because if you can zoom out and isolate the data points kind of one at a time and think, okay, is this going to make its translation better, or is this going to confuse it? Maybe it's going to confuse it. Scrap this one. But now there's
Uh-huh.
other data
Uh-huh.
points you can reference. With if you zoom out, N8N basically lets you see different nodes of a workflow and let the data move through it from a no code perspective, but you can insert code to still customize things. Um, I think that would allow for at least isolating the variables enough to feed it into the LLM, clean
Mm-hmm.
enough that it you can definitively determine if it knows what it's doing or not. Maybe all you do all
Uh-huh.
that stuff and it
Yeah.
and it still says some crazy things,
So
but
I think for sure we can get, somehow solve this part of just giving incorrect, invalid moves. This should be easy because this
Easy.
everything can be pre-computed. So what's the position? What are the moves? What are the resulting position? This is the eval. Everything this we can pre-compute. That is fine. So I think we can go to the phase where there is an actual explanation that makes sense somehow, right, to us. But then there is this another question: how do we know about the quality of the explanation? Because say you don't know something and you see an explanation. Say a stranger explains something to you. Do you trust or not? That's the question here. So if we have a, say, chess coach, then you have this natural trust. Oh, this person knows more about chess. But you also evaluate by yourself. So say if it gives you a method to win, and then you evaluate it yourself, and you say, okay, this is winning, and I can win. This makes sense. Say with an engine, for sometimes we see a top line of the engine, and we say, okay, so what? I don't know, what does it do.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just a benchmark, something that this is in general a problem with generated content. How do we evaluate
I think that
the
evaluation could even still come from having enough data because, like, okay, you said a few things. But first of all, chess is objective. There's a truth to the position in every position, and it depends on what depth you're looking at. So you need to factor that in. If your coach tells you something, if you only look at it in a depth of two moves, they might be completely correct. But then if you look at it at 15 moves, they might be wrong. Which is why oftentimes, someone that's analyzing a game for other people, they'll be like, "Oh, forget what the engine's saying right now. We're looking at what's right in front of us, even though the engine says something different." So you need to respect that. But like, let's say within this process, you have a tree that then shows you in the top three engine lines, you need to branch out somewhat significantly, but you can process an FEN for each of those positions 5 moves deep, right, through the tree. And with that FEN, you can run another stockfish analysis on it. And if you can run that analysis, you can see now 5 moves deeper, what is the evaluation changed? And do that again. And theoretically, like, there's enough data, I think, to tie everything together to have it able to, you don't ask it to explain something at 50 depth, but 5 depth, 10, probably.
Mhm.
I think it could be
Yeah,
possible.
I think definitely can be a step towards something greater than we have right now. But whether the complete evaluation, you said chess is objective, and I think you meant that we know there is a position and we know about it. But truly, we know only about, say, what's in the table base, because these positions were solved. Even if it's depth 20, it's still stockfish exploring at depth 20 and then using evaluation of positions that are created after this depth. Can be wrong, can be still wrong. It's sufficient
Yeah,
enough for us in practice, and also sufficient to defeat any human. So yeah, if we remember that we are playing against human, we're not trying to solve chess as a game in game theory sense, then of course it's good. But my question was more about, say, oh, there is a position, like, and this oracle, in the sense of LLM, tells you, oh, your position is good because you have a strong passed pawn. Do you trust or not? That's the question here, because
But then,
like,
take this example. You have a passed pawn. If the top engine line shows 5 moves deeper, that pawn is promoted to a queen,
yeah,
then I
then
trust
you
what it's
do.
saying.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
but but
then you
if
do.
and there's data that you can feed into it that actually that would
Yeah,
tell it that, right?
but you see, there is some evaluation involved. So yeah,
Hmm.
you promote in this line, and you need to see it somehow.
Yeah.
If I
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
see it, then
Yeah.
so I'm totally like agreeing with you. Just there are some. It's still fine to cover 90% of cases and be okay
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah.
It's just that somehow we have this trust or evaluation has to be involved. It's the same problem with LLMs where you ask them about something and say you talk about a topic that you are completely unaware, then say everything sounds fine maybe, but I cannot evaluate this. But if you ask about a topic that you know better than what the average response is from the model, then you can evaluate for yourself and then make a decision. Um, but definitely, I would like to see some proper project trying to explain. Actually, I was involved in a project like this, but this was before LLMs. Totally forgot about it. It was 2021, I think, and there was a guy called Gabriel. Right now, he's running a very big company in LLMs. It's called Harvey AI, I think. It's for legal, some company with legal stuff, but a really big one with funding from OpenAI. And he invited me to work on a project that there were three guys, another Pavel also from Poland there. It's somewhere on Reddit. We published results from it, and the goal was to extract as many positional features from positions and then try to create an explanation from it. This project was unfortunately abandoned, but you can see there should be a Reddit post about it. And the demo we built was that we were trying to extract like hundreds of features from a position
Hmm.
and then use it as an input to a model. But that was still early on. It's 4 years ago, so the models were not that good, and we were trying to build something in house also. The project was abandoned because we had different goals, and just that the team didn't work in the end because everybody went to pursue their own things. But what we built was a thing that it was basically a search. It was before feeding any data to the model, but it was search that allowed you to put many things as filters and try to find games with matching these positions. So it was possible to say, oh, Magnus played a game he had made in two, but he missed it in a time scramble, for
Hmm.
example. Or there was like an opening and somebody like sacked a queen on move four and then, like, I don't know, won in 5 moves. And so using these filters, we just presented a nice search for games in the Lichess database, but the plan was to use them and create explanations later, which didn't happen. First of all, it was too early. Maybe if the project started right now or some time
Hmm.
ago, maybe it would succeeded. And
Hmm.
also, like, maybe there was not that much in the team. Also, this is very important when you work with other people. So I had my own staff; they had some of their stuff also on the side,
Hmm.
and it was very hard to combine those things. But the idea was very nice. It's just
Hmm.
way too early. Mhm.
It's
Timing
like
is also very important.
timing, and especially right now. You said 4 years ago, but 4 years in the
Hmm.
last 4 years has been like a decade in terms, sorry, a century in terms of technological
Hmm.
advancements.
Yeah, yeah.
It's night and day. So the basically people say when you're building with AI, if you build the framework around the AI to be good enough, the AI will keep improving, as new models are released. And so your product should theoretically get better and better.
Hmm. Hmm. What interesting tools you came across with IndieChess.com? Uh,
IndieChess.com. So IndieChess.com, it's a directory, first of all, where you can find chess tools and apps and creators that are listed there. I'm trying to list as many as I can, though it is time consuming. So I've built some better uh, pipelines for making the upload process a little bit um, easier for me and for another guy that I have assisting me with it. In terms of top tools, Chessvision is probably the independent, if you don't mind me calling you that, tool that I use the
mhm.
most or come across the most, even if it's not me calling it on Twitter, for example. I click on the link and go to your either Lee Chess or to the Chess Vision analysis page. There's another interesting one, Chess Lock, which makes you solve a puzzle on your phone if you configure it basically to
Ah,
lock you out of your
uh-huh.
apps after a certain amount of time. That's an interesting and unique one.
What's the name?
There's
Is
other
it
ones that
Chess Lock? Chess Lock is the name? Like a
chess
lock.
lock, yeah,
Uh-huh.
lock, yeah.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Okay.
Um,
That's a good idea.
and Indie Chess has been great because it's allowed me to connect with a lot of people that are building different things. Ted Wong making small chess. He's put lots of time into that, and he's grown quite a community of people behind AI chess analysis. People building different types of opening trainers and opening tree visualizers. Um, yeah, a lot of learning platforms coming as well, kind of to what you said before. So a lot of people that are independently innovating and trying to do things. I think that maybe it's a product of growing so large and a product of success for chess.com, for example, is that I don't think that they innovate much on the technology side, on the application side of what they built. They do certain things with lots of innovation. Like that's why I give credit to their broadcasting. But I don't see too many new things coming out or being endorsed by them on the technology side. So it's good to see that independent people are putting things together and trying to find solutions for their own problems that might
Mm-hmm.
be overlooked by other players.
Yeah, I actually think that this natural void was created after Chess.com acquired many of the website that they acquired in the
Hmm.
past. For example, Aim Chess they acquired, or Chess24, all this Play Magnus group
Hmm.
essentially that was also
Hmm.
an umbrella for many websites, and now they are under ownership of Chess.com. So it created this natural void. There are just not that many, as you call them, independent, which is I think a good name, apps right now. So we are, yes. When I like places like this, when I go and I see resources, chess resources. I'm deep into chess in the sense chess and tech of following also apps. But when I went to IndieChess, I also saw websites and or apps that I didn't know about.
Hmm.
And that's really nice because then I
Hmm.
see, oh, it's actually way more that I am aware of, and I'm probably aware more of more than like
Hmm.
99% people. So that was really nice. Yeah.
And I think that if you just go on Reddit and search what chess app should I use? There's 100 questions that have asked the
Mm-hmm.
exact same thing, and oftentimes, rightly so, the people are saying Lee Chess. Lee Chess gets a lot of extra credit, at least on Reddit, over chess.com, from what I've seen, for being free and open source and no ads. But chess.com and Lee Chess are sort of the ones that people refer to because that's where the playing aspect of it is, which is what a lot of people want to do. But some people want to go beyond just playing chess. They want to analyze, they want to go deep into openings. And I don't think necessarily that chess.com or Lee Chess have overly innovated in those spaces for the last little bit, from what I've seen. So then, and as you mentioned, them buying out certain companies, and as people speak on, they've kind of shut down certain things and put them out of commission. I'm pretty sure Aim Chess is. I think the last time I clicked on it on the chess.com website, it said like we're not developing this any further. We'll just leave it as we purchased it, basically. So that void that you discussed, it could have felt demoralizing for some time, but I think it also opens up opportunities when you see that those players aren't innovating. It just means that the solutions, the more tailored solutions that people want, will be served by individual creators, especially with the accessibility of building software now,
Yeah.
compared to just a few years ago. Like anyone can really step into the game if they don't already know what they're doing, they can learn what they're doing. I'm even currently writing a blog on how to and I'll do a YouTube video on it as well, but how to start coding in chess. So just how to get your first React chessboard and Chess.js engine running so that anyone could put together a simple play versus AI or play versus a random number generator application. So these kinds of things just make the space more accessible for independent people to join and contribute in the ways that they want their problems solved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just making this so accessible to create chess apps is great because, say, we have many great tools created by small teams or even single people, and imagine this these apps they require actually a team, like 5, 10 people. Maybe they are not existing because it's too costly to even start. So it creates this very nice ecosystem that people, creative people, they just create, show, and then we all have better life because of that. That's
Hmm.
super nice.
Yeah, and you'll see that in every industry, not just chess, but kind of like we said a few times, chess can have those more tailored solutions that
Hmm.
exist elsewhere but can be adapted.
There is one other thing that right now I recalled because somehow I forgot it. But say we were speaking about studying or training. Some people, I think, they just enjoy training as a process, so results say don't matter that much. But say you actually care about the result, care about improvement. You want to gain rating essentially because that's the metric. And then let's say you sit here in front of your computer and you want to pick activity that will help you at this time the most, but not by your judgment, it's just objectively more data driven, let's say. And I was thinking about something like this because it's different. Say you 1,000 on Chess.com or 1,500 or 2,000, or your playstyle is different, your activities should be different, but we are picking them somehow randomly. We just open a book,
Hmm.
or we solve a
Hmm.
puzzle, or we look at our game. But this, at least in theory, it doesn't sound so efficient. And maybe here is some room for improvement if people actually care. Because if they don't care, say if the improvement process is the thing, and you don't care about being much better, it's just you want to spend time with chess, then it's maybe not that valuable. But I think there are some people who really care about results and optimizing this pipeline of studying for them to actually gain results. And this is easy to show. If you compare people, say you have a tool that can actually pick an activity. Say you do puzzles now, you do this or this kind of puzzles, this types of positions you solve, and you take a group of people and you compare versus a group of people who don't do it or study in a different way. Then you can actually compare because ELO, in the sense or any other rating on the platform, it's the thing that they try to optimize. So there is no proxy. And yeah, this can be interesting. I had some ideas with it some time ago, but I totally forgot about it. Just it's good that I recall it now.
Hmm. Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think Chess Monitor might do something like that, because they're big on data and analysis of massive amounts of data in their database. I think I saw something, and I don't know, I should be fact checked on this, but 40 billion games in their database,
Mhm.
which is a lot of games, right? And so if you could technically just apply that to one individual, and look at all of their games and say, I mean, you could even just zoom in and say, in most of your games, you're leading until move 10, and middle games are where you're falling out. And and I'm not saying I would do this, it's not scalable for me, but an AI model could process vast amounts of that data, and determine where in games they're falling off, and therefore some algorithm computing, maybe they need puzzles, or they need to actually specifically look at this one opening that they keep losing in. Yeah, the
Mhm.
data exists, but it's a lot of data. It's hard to access it all.
This can be maybe also approached in a bit of different way. Say you put a bot that is playing against people, but nobody knows, right? It's just a bot in a sense. It's a computer. But this computer has one goal is to improve its rating as fast as possible. And it's learning in a sense. So say you have all this self-learning algorithm to play chess. But this one you train on a real pool of players instead of playing, say, with itself. And then if the goal is to improve the fastest, then maybe it can learn something. Like if you can examine this learning process and see into it, this can be maybe an approach.
That part is out of my domain. It seems
Like
to
because
fall
it's
within your
yeah,
machine
but
learning
it's a
background.
yeah, but don't try to think about computers here. Let's say we put I don't know 10 or 100 people. They are completely new to chess, and they are trying some things and they are documenting their learning process. They all start at the same rating, and let's assume they are all facing the same players pool. And then you look at the results and you see which improved like the fastest, which didn't improve at all, which were just like the most efficient there. And then you look into the process. How did you, what do you actually studied, what was key, and you analyze this. So this is a process you can do with humans somehow, but then you can go further and optimize this process by, because playing games as humans is consuming. Maybe playing 100 games is not enough, or taking 100 people. But if you have a machine like a computer playing there, this can be optimized because you can play essentially as many games as you want. And then somehow, if you can say you create 1,000 different bots and they are doing different things, and then you can observe somehow. I'm just rambling a bit because it's a fresh idea here, but maybe something worth exploring.
Yeah, I'm curious to see just in general how AI, now that it's so accessible to put credits in an OpenAI API or Claude, for example, how
Mm,
across different domains in chess it's applied. I mean,
mm,
it's one thing to assist it with building applications quicker. It's another to make it the backbone of a analysis pipeline that's repeating for each player that goes through it to determine where their strengths and weaknesses are, as just one example, and to have AI at
mm.
the core of your service, really.
And you also mentioned you tried you experimented with some chess ideas. What are the others? Maybe you want to share some also.
Yeah,
Or
so
maybe what you're building actively right now, also besides IndieChess.
yeah, so my flagship product would be called Chess Website, available at
Mm,
www.chessweb.site. It's a website builder for professional chess players, creators, coaches, anyone in chess that wants a no-code solution to spin up their own website. You can add links, photographs, you can host your content like YouTube and stuff there. You can show directly within. You can, if you have affiliate links to products that other people sell, or if you have your own products that you sell, your own courses, you can link them there as well. You can advertise your coaching services. It's taking elements of other successful websites like Wix or Substack or Shopify, and consolidating it all in a templated input and output for what chess needs. Like we've said before, like the taking existing working things that don't have any relation to chess. So you have to typically people need to kind of duct tape solutions together to make it fit for chess. This has been built from the ground up with chess at the backbone and the needs of chess at the backbone. So that's one thing I built. It also has a separate extension that allows tournament organizers to handle their events end to end. It takes
mm,
care of registration, again, hosting the website with custom domains, processing payments, managing financial reports, exporting the participant list for round one to begin your pairings. All of that's available within the site as well. And then I've built another application that's on the iPhone right now and will come to the Android soon. Just working with Google, it's a little different process that allows you to share PGNs. So if you had a game that was particularly notable to you or a puzzle that stuck to you, you can upload it on this platform and people can scroll through it and they can engage with it kind of like it was a social media application. So they can like it, they can comment on, they can even add comments directly to moves and suggest variations that you may not have seen and with annotations and arrows and things like that, so that it's a collaborative analysis tool where your chosen selected games kind of live on your profile. I'm likely going to integrate that within Chess website where there's basically simple APIs right now connected to chess.com and Chess that fetch your profile information if you've given your username. It will eventually be automated to kind of collect your most recent games and filter the best ones that you might want to share and kind of prompt you to share them and host them on your website as well. And people can go through, comment directly on
mm.
your games, learn from you, from your past experiences of games you've intentionally chosen to highlight, and then they can return to the home feed and scroll through other people's games as well. That application has a separate product within it, which is what I was describing before. It's not production ready, but for exporting those same games to video, where the annotations that you put are read by text to speech, and basically you set your default frame rate for how quickly you want it to move through the pieces, but through the moves. But then if there's annotations, obviously it custom adapts the frame rate to give time for those to be spoken by the text to speech. And then there's transitions and animations that are built into it as well. Like I said, it's not finished, but it is actually something that I want to finish and get distributed. But it's a lot of my tools serve independent creators that want to build things and want to grow their business and their careers in chess. Whether you're a coach, if you're a coach right now and you want to start an academy, you can put your you can put your credentials, sorry, your coaching information on a chess.com page or a Chess page, and people can reach out to you there. But it's not a consolidated place where you're hosting your services out of. You're kind of relying on chess.com to list you at the top of their coaches, whereas you might be on the seventh page of what their rankings are. My website builder lets you build the site yourself and lets you market it yourself with tools that I'll eventually build to uh, improve the distribution of it for the creator themselves or the coach themselves. It gives the power back to the individual to uh, kind of take control of their content and their distribution, and no code required, serving the same kind of easy to build, as Wix is an example of that. I don't know if you're familiar with Wix,
Yeah.
but Wix, although you can build websites for it, there's a lot of features there that have nothing to do with chess that will overwhelm the beginner builder that's just starting learning how to build something for themselves. When you get a thousand different emails, or sorry, features on email marketing and
Yeah.
SEO and all these things that most people don't think about or want to think about, I'm trying to template it and build it for the individual so that they just have to focus. Like they could launch your website in less than 5 minutes and customize it
Okay.
with another 10 minutes. You can have your site running. Um, so lots of things in that space that will continue to evolve. And of course, IndieChess.com, which is kind of the parent enterprise that contains everything to distribute not just my own products and services, but other people's as well, to make it more accessible. Because, if I'm building a website builder, I want to empower people to empower themselves in creating things in the chess world. Um, so to do that, you gotta connect with people and want to support them and want to see them succeed. I don't take anything if someone else succeeds in the same space. It doesn't take anything away from me. I want everybody to win.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's a win-win for everybody. And I think when I went to chess website to check it out, it was a few weeks ago, and I saw it, and I thought my initial honest thought was, okay, another website like this Linktree is the name, something like this,
Yep.
right? Which is
Linktree.
generic, right? And then I went there and I see that I can actually make moves and play with the person, and I was, oh wow, that's like awesome, because it's just instantly I had some assumptions about the page. I thought, all right, how I didn't know how is it different. Then I go and it was just in your face, like I can make moves. And this is a really good idea because whoever visits, whether it's your favorite creator or person you know or famous player even, then you can make a move and you actually see the game. You create something that this person is a part of. This is amazing. So yeah,
Yeah, that's one example of basically when you niche down. So instead of Linktree, which serves everybody, chess website serves chess creators, chess players. So of course I'm going to build a chessboard native into it, but Linktree's never going to touch that, right?
yes,
And
no, not a chance.
or even there's already Chess and chess.com APIs for fetching profiles. So if you want people to be able to find your profile on chess.com, just put your username in and it renders a little widget that they can with a chess.com logo that
Yeah,
they can find your profile right away. So I'll continue building out the features of what is capable on it, what you can display, putting chess first at the root of it all, but to empower people to create things in chess, that's what I'm trying to do.
yeah. Yeah, also the fact that it's so fast to create a website. You said 5 minutes to create and make it running, maybe 10 up to with customization. I remember I had some people outside of tech, completely from other industries. They asked me how should I create a website, and I recommended this weeks.
Yep.
I've never used it myself, but I know it. And then they went there, and then they were completely overwhelmed. Also, there are still people familiar with technology, so but still it was overwhelming because all right, you put some widgets here and there, you choose a layout, it's many things, it's not to mention SEO or something like this. So having it almost instant click, this is really nice because like essentially when it's a chess coach, this person wants to teach chess, not to care about a website, and this makes life much
Hmm.
easier. Super nice.
Yep.
And I also saw that you are on Twitter. You are sharing puzzles from an app, and I wanted to ask you about it.
Yeah. So I set up a server, and I set up a Twitter API to be able to uh, go from FEM to image to
Hmm.
posting that image. That's basically the process, and it runs on repeat. I got the idea. I can't remember the name of the person um, that I came across on Twitter that was doing something similar through the Lee Chess library, and I had seen posts of things like this in the past. But I DM'd him. I wish I could recall his name and shout him out because he gave me like a step-by-step guide in the DMs on how to set it up. So I set up a server for a few different other things, but one of them is for automated tweets of puzzle positions.
Hmm. And do you set up positions manually, or it's on a schedule?
Mm,
How does it work?
that one, there's basically just a long list of FENs, um, and it's like 400,000 of them or something like that. Uh,
Okay, okay.
so a big file, it doesn't need to be that big because it's just one per day, and it randomly pulls one. It renders it through a chess processor, a chess engine, and through that generates the image. So no, it's not manual. Um, and it's actually not live in production for Chess Thread. It's sort of like a feature I built for myself, but
Hmm.
it could be done to make it live and to even make it link back to Chess Threads, the full
Hmm.
interactivity, kind of like what you do with Chess Vision, and similar process,
Uh-huh.
full interactivity being available there.
I'm asking also because I'm posting puzzles on Chessvision AI Twitter sometimes, and it's usually the process is that I'm encountering an interesting position. Usually, it comes from my games, or sometimes from tactics that I have solved and liked. So maybe from survival, puzzle survival, or some tactics that I have, and then I'm solving them, and then I'm creating a tweet. But it takes some time.
Yeah,
Um, but there is this balance of just posting, say, without any context. So there is no context, for example, right? There are some people posting just, oh, mate in two, boom. But sometimes I want to put some of my thoughts into the process. But it's always the process is that I'm taking a screenshot. Maybe I'm putting a previous move there, so I'm marking what was the previous move, that it was a blunder. Then I'm adding some description, things like that. And this is something that I would like to have automated. I don't know yet how, but there are other people also posting puzzles regularly on Twitter, and they might have a similar problem.
you could do that automated in the way you describe, where there's a little bit of custom explanation. If
Yeah,
you kind of what we said on before was the large language model integrations. If you put as a step in the process, not trying to get it to explain detailed, but if you
hmm,
feed it a stockfish analysis basically, and if the
yeah.
stockfish says mate in two, you just make it say that, format it that way. Like there's you could
That makes
I would
sense.
really suggest that you look into N8N if you've never used it before, like the letter N,
Hmm. Hmm.
8N again.
Hmm.
It's open source. It's free to use if you have if you self-host it. Otherwise, it's quite expensive if you host it on their clouds. But it lets you, like the things that you're describing that you want to do, it lets you visualize how it's done step by step a lot easier and implement your
Hmm.
own customizations every step of that process.
Hmm.
So that's my suggestion as you look into that.
Okay. Yeah, this would be nice, but on the other hand, I like to have it some personal message, so it's a balance between uh,
Yeah.
just purely generating content and saving times. It's still not that time consuming. It's maybe 10 minutes it takes, but I need to remember about it and things like that. So positions I'm saving constantly. The list is growing faster that I'm posting. And I'm not posting that often. It's maybe once every 3 days. Sometimes it's just daily. Depends on if I remember or not. That's the
Well,
thing here.
y- I'd even be willing to share you the code snippet that runs it. That's not a problem. But if you
Oh,
are already
uh-huh.
generating that list of FENs from your own ways you pick them up in your
Mm-hmm.
own day to day, you could then just compile that list and
Yeah,
run the same script that
definitely,
I'm doing.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
And
was
with
thinking even about just. Uh-huh.
with N8N, it lets you, if you want, add a step for manual intervention as well, where you give it
Okay.
the approval or even edit it if you must, but it would do 80% of the work of formatting for you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That is very nice. Uh-huh. Usually, also puzzles on Twitter, they were much more popular. I remember there were people sharing them with almost 500,000 views, 200,000 regularly, and just writing
Hmm.
mate in two.
Yep.
Now it seems it's different. There was one grandmaster who I remember he had a request to me. It's a bit funny, but I can share it. So he was I think one of the most popular people posting puzzles at that time. But people instantly they try to scan it with Chess Vision to get a solution, and he didn't want it. So he reached out to me to put a timer so that there is an hour since the post was posted, so that if people try to scan, the bot says, "Oh, wait, more, like, wait 40 minutes more till you scan. Now try to solve it by yourself." So it was actually a feature, but he's the only user of this
Interesting.
feature. He's not active anymore, and
Okay.
I think with posting puzzles. But there was a time his puzzles were just super trendy, like 200,
Hmm.
500,000 views. So it was a lot.
Wow. Well, hopefully this podcast does those kind of numbers.
Hopefully too. Yes, yes, yes.
Cool. Well, it's been wonderful to discuss all of these things with you. I'd honestly even be down to do it again at some point in the future because you clearly
Uh-huh.
have a lot of knowledge and a lot to share. For me, I learned a lot, and hopefully other people can too from everything we've
Um,
discussed.
Yeah, definitely. And I had a blast talking to you. It's a very easygoing conversation and very comfortable also. So wishing you good luck with the future episode, with all the guests you will invite, and I will be a regular listener for sure.